All right, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with a Vulnerable Angel and friends. I am your host, Dominica May, the Vulnerable Angel. This is episode 43 now, and our topic for this week is the meaning of friendship. And I am joined by my two regular friends, Mike and Sharon. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Mike is
Oh
a
my
stick figure
God.
tonight.
You lost
Hi,
a bit of weight.
everybody.
Lost a bit of weight.
So good to see you today. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
yeah.
me back.
Great glasses. Are they new?
Yeah. No, these are the ones that I've had for a while.
Oh, okay. I guess
so.
I just am
Yeah.
not very observant then.
You know what they say, real men wear pink. So
That's right. That's right.
Just
If you
kidding,
are,
this is me.
there we go. There we go.
oh God. You tricked us.
If you are new to this show, what we do is we generally have a topic that we discuss questions around every week, and we try and get into our deep and vulnerable feely feels and talking about
Way to put
I don't know, I'm just being random
I'm sorry,
today.
what is it called again, Dominica?
Deep and vulnerable feely feels.
Vulnerable feeling feel.
Our feely feels. And yeah, because I feel like these days people just are afraid to be vulnerable, and I want to inspire other people to have those deeper conversations by having them with my friends.
Of being vulnerable. I have to show you my cat right now.
Oh my
Aw.
God. Look at that
Yeah.
chongus. Oh, bless.
He's
Looks so
just like-
relaxed.
He's laying on his back. You can see his face all the way, like right here. He's
That's just like me after grandma's cooking.
oh, Thanksgiving.
That's how I felt like I was on the couch having my nap at 5:10 p.m. this afternoon, just before
Nothing better.
dinner. Like have a just before dinner nap, and then I was going to just heat up leftovers for dinner, and then my daughter was like, "I want burgers for tonight." Well, if you want to make them, go ahead. Like we can have that instead. So I didn't even have to heat up leftovers for dinner. So it was nice.
Nice.
All right. The inspiration for tonight's topic was because in my Facebook memories this week was this picture. I'm going to bring it up here for us of me and Mike.
Oh wow. You guys.
9 years ago from I think it was just a couple of days after we first met. And yeah, you took this picture, Mike, to share on Facebook and then tag Rachel Hamilton because we discovered that we both knew her.
I totally forgot. We both know Rachel. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, this is such a great picture because you look so silly. And it just to me really captures like how quickly you can click with people that you just meet and be silly with. So yeah, so that was the inspiration for this week's
That's
topic.
awesome. That's
9 years.
love that.
All right, so we
I
do
still
have
take photos like that. My mouth is
that's
always
true.
wide open.
Yeah.
Good boy.
I'm pretty sure we have other pictures where that's what we look like too. All right, so our questions this week, as usual, come from ChatGPT.
Let's do it.
And yeah, let's jump right in with our first question tonight is,
First question.
what's the earliest friendship you remember and how did it shape your idea of what a friend is?
Nikki Matthews. Nikki Matthews was the girl who lived across the street from me. She, when I got married, I asked her to be in my groom's party. Because she was my first best friend ever. Not just my first best friend, she was my first friend. She, for my 5th birthday, gave me my very first comic book, which is Fantastic Four. She was, I mean, like, not that you have romantic feelings towards anyone anyway when you're like 5 years old, that like
Right.
it was total, like, just a platonic, like, we were just friends. She was one of those people that, because my best friend was a girl, I never understood why there was a division between boys and girls.
Mm.
Like, she was my best friend. Like, I had boy parts, she had girl parts, but like, why does that come into play in terms of our friendship? In terms of just like who we are as people. Um, so yeah, we haven't always stayed in touch throughout the years, but we've reconnected in like the past 10 years, and she's still just the sweetest, just the most wonderful human being. Um, yeah, love her to death, Nikki Matthews.
How did it shape your idea of what a friend is?
Well, I think that's kind of what I was hinting at when I was talking about, like, you know, boys versus girls. Like,
There's
people are
no
people.
distinction.
Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what your nationality is, what your gender, what your race, any of that stuff, sexuality, religion. Like, a friend is a person in your life that you enjoy spending time with, and
Like
none of that other human-made garbage should come into play. It's just, I often talk about, strangers or just friends we haven't met yet, which
I like
is,
that. Yeah.
it's a little trite and a little cliche, and it might be a little naive, and I totally concede that, but
I mean, you can't be friends with everyone, honestly. You
no.
can't. Some people are bound to hate you for some stupid reason or another.
But I don't know. Like, Nikki she was fun. I just enjoyed hanging out with her. She was my pal. She was my buddy.
I like that. That's amazing that you like stayed in touch and well, I mean, you said not all the time, but that enough that you invited her to be in your groom's party. So
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
What about you, Sharad, or you want me to go next?
You can go next.
All right. The first one I remember. This is hard because, I don't know when specifically we became friends, and I probably was friends with other people before this, but I don't have very many memories before the age of 9, which is crazy. I don't know, maybe childhood trauma or something. So the first friendship that I remember being like a strong, significant friendship was a girl called Sharon. I went to primary school with her. We were at really small, like private school that was kind of formed by the parents. Like there was a lot of parental kind of influence over the school and everything, and mixed age levels of classes, and that sort of thing. And I stayed friends with her up and through until after we both got married. And then I think around that time, we just kind of went our separate ways. Like nothing, no blow ups or anything like that. We're just like, we're living different lives, I guess. But from those early years, what I remember was just like hanging out at each other's houses and playing games. And she had a swimming pool, and so sometimes we'd like do Marco Polo in her swimming pool. Yeah. Like so that, and like sleepovers and stuff. So for me, I guess the way it shaped my idea of what a friend is just someone that you enjoy spending time with. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the gist of it. I mean, to me, I think friendship these days is more of a spectrum and has more complicated things, but that is like the the fundamental part of what was shaped of what a friend is in those days.
Mine would be Dheeraj Aswani. It's crazy now that I think about it. We were pretty much inseparable when we were kids, and it didn't really help that we looked very, very similar. So everyone assumed that we were like these twins just like running about. And that's all we used to do, just cause trouble. And I love the fact that I'm just kind of going back to some old memories of us sleeping in each other's houses, and this is one that I just remembered, and I still can't get over. I just remember him drinking a glass of water in the kitchen, his sister sneaking up behind him, looking at him, going, sneaking up behind him and literally kicking him so hard in the ass. And he starts projectile vomiting this water, and then he starts chasing her.
Oh my god!
And Spirit's going, ah! And then like his parents coming down and yelling, "Why is there all this water on the floor?" I'm like, ah! So that was pretty good fun. But no, I mean it's
not for one party involved. It wasn't.
No, and it was just good fun, and it was just pure, really just pure fun. And unfortunately, when we both hit, I want to say maybe 12 or 13, that's when we both hit secondary school in the British system. And unfortunately, we were split into different classes, and then we never quite remained the same. But we're still friends on Facebook. I see him every now and then at like weddings or reunions, and those are always fun. And so it just goes to show for me, someone is a friend is when they know something about you, whatever it is, and it's okay. And it's someone that you can just, whatever's on your mind, whatever you're going through, you can just turn that off and you can be a kid again. Yeah.
I love that. You get to be a kid again with your friends. Your
homies.
Mm-hmm. Next question. How has the meaning of friendship changed for you over different life stages?
Well, I mean, you change, right? You're like, as you grow, as you gain new life experience, your tastes change. The things that you like change. The things you're attracted to, the things that annoy you change. And you change with that, and your friends have their own changes too, right? This person will remain nameless, but there's someone from my youth that we were so close, so close, best friends, and life took us in two very different
directions.
Yes, thank you. and we've continued to stay in contact over the years, and we talk about like our life experiences, and he stays in the same hometown where he grew up, and I can't for the life of me understand that. Like, why there's nothing there? Why are you still there? And he sees my life, and because I grew up in a town of 6,000 people, very small town, with a small town mindset, right? And so he sees me, in New York City. I remember I told him the first time that I was moving into the city that I was moving to Harlem, and he goes, "Harlem? That's dangerous!" Like it's so like the world that we live in are so.
But that's a very racist attitude to have, right? About Harlem.
But
I feel like.
Not maybe now, but Harlem was not. It did not welcome my kind for a very long time. It was extraordinarily dangerous. Like we all hear the stories of Times Square, where like it was, up until the 90s, like it was even, for a good portion of the 90s, it was, You just didn't go to Times Square because that's if you were there, it meant you were looking for trouble. Anyway.
Wow.
Okay. But yeah.
Changed.
How has the meaning of friendship changed for you over different life stages? I don't know. The meaning of friendship. Well, I mean, it's kind of a generic question.
You can change it if you need
the
to.
The meaning of friendship stays the same. That doesn't change, but who you are as a person, we change, and the types of people you choose to surround yourself with throughout different life stages. Like somebody once told me, and again, talk about being trite and cliche. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think that's really kind of true.
Yeah. I do think it's possible for the meaning of friendship to change over time. Because, when you're young, like you can be just friends with everyone that you're at school with, and like it's no big deal. But like as you grow up, then you kind of realize that there are different types of friendships, at least that I have. So some you can you have friends that you just hang out with and you like do fun things together, but they don't really know you intimately. And then you have deeper friendships that you tell all your secrets to. So I think there are like levels of friendships. Yeah. And I mean, some people might distinguish like the ones that they don't know intimately as more acquaintances, maybe. It just depends on like how you see friendships. And I know it's hard also as an autistic person, because I've definitely had situations where I've probably thought somebody was a friend, but they didn't see me the same way. Or vice versa. because I'm such an open book, right? I can reveal so much stuff about my life that makes other people feel like they know me intimately, but I don't know them as well because they're not as open with their own lives. So it's like it's not balanced. And I feel like friendship should be more balanced. That like there's more of a give and take, and it's like over the lifetime of the friendship, not necessarily for the entire time, like because maybe your friend gets sick and you need to take care of them and so they can't do as much, or like somebody has a baby and then that makes them more focused on that at a time, so they can't dedicate as much time with you and that sort of thing. So, and I think also probably there might have been times in the past that I might have thought that, friendships are the people who you see more regularly and stick around. And if they leave your life, and you don't talk to them anymore, or it's a long period of time between talking to them, then they're not really a friend anymore. Because you've gone separate ways. But then there are friendships where it doesn't matter how much time that goes between communication. When you do get back in touch, it's like no time has passed at all.
Those are my favorite. Favorite. Yeah.
And my favorite too. Yeah, because I've definitely had those sorts of things. Like so much stuff has been happening in my life and I just get too busy that I can't give a friendship the attention that it deserves. And like because I like a lot of my friendships, especially from like 99 2000 onwards, were friendships that I gained by meeting them on the internet. A lot of my friendships from around 2000 to I want to say the maybe mid 2010s ish. Most of my my closest friendships were all like online connections, because it was easier to get to know people intimately through online journaling sites and that sort of thing. and then find those people that I had things in common with, that made it easier to kind of just connect. Because a lot of the people that I kind of went to school with, a lot of them didn't have the same interests as me, and it was really hard, like as an undiagnosed autistic person, to know how to connect with my peers, especially in high school. That's why, like, my friend that I mentioned in the first question, Sharon, like I was still friends with her through high school, even though we were at completely different schools, because I didn't really form very close friendships in high school. It was just too daunting for me, being in a much bigger school compared to my basically there were 2 classrooms with different age groups, and by the time I was in 7th grade, I was the only student my age at that school. So like that's how small that school community was. So it was just like very different for me to, it's much harder for me to find those in-person connections, and because I was so different from other kids, especially with my childhood, I suppose. It's just like I didn't know how to socialize. Did not know. And I was afraid of other people, I guess, probably. I don't know.
When you say you did not know how to socialize, could you go into more detail about that? Would you just go up to a random kid and just go?
No, I wouldn't. Like one of my early memories from high school was like I sat down on like this bit of wood by a garden, and like that's where I just sat to eat lunch by myself because I didn't know anyone, and someone came up to me like trying to offer friendship and like ask questions and stuff, and I was just like, I don't know, like I didn't even bother. Like I just stayed where I was. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
So you just carried on eating and ignored them?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I answered the questions, but I didn't like even when I did decide to go over and sit with people when I was invited to, I didn't really talk to anyone. I just kind of sat there because I don't know, I just didn't know how to fit in, I guess. Yeah, it was just hard. I don't really know. I don't remember a lot of the details of like what people talked about. There was like later on, I think around 10th grade, when I was trying even harder to fit in. I thought that I knew what was the popular music, and then so when somebody asked me what music I liked, I think I said Aqua at the time, and
you're a Barbie girl in this Barbie world.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great song, and I got made fun of for it. I'm like, well, if I'm just gonna get made fun of for saying stuff when I'm even trying to fit in, then what is the point, right? So I stayed silent a lot of the time because I didn't like getting made fun of for just trying to fit in or being myself. Like there was no, it was challenging. So I guess I didn't really know what friendship really was in those high school years, and it was only through kind of discovering people who I did fit in with and I had stuff in common with online that I started to kind of get a bigger grasp of what friendship is. And then I think also like when I met my ex-husband and he brought me into his circle of theater friends, that helped me to have a few more in-person friendships because they were open to me and seemed to like me. But like my ex-husband was like, oh, he was trying to teach me the social rules because I supposedly didn't understand things, which may or may not have been true. Probably at least partially true. But he tried to teach me like social customs or expectations. Like there was one time where I said that we were not in a financial position to be able to afford to go to somebody's birthday party, and then they offered to pay for us, and so I was like, oh yeah, that would be great, thanks. And then my ex-husband was like, no, you can't accept that. Like they're just saying that to be nice, and they're not actually. I was like, why offer something if you don't actually mean it? So I think for me, that's one of the things that's kind of evolved for me, is that friendship needs to, like, the ideal friendships needs to have honesty and trust and boundaries, and being willing to speak up when you are not capable of giving in a particular time, and so that you can trust that when the offer is there that you want to give somebody something, or somebody offers you, they want to pay for your dinner or whatever, that you're not going to be expected to give them something in return. It's not a tit for tat kind of thing, right? Because I feel like that's not really a friendship if there's like that
I would argue that in that specific situation that does not necessarily mean that it's not a friendship. It just means that like sometimes you just like to be square.
Yeah, it's different when it's discussed in advance, though. Like if it's discussed, like there is expectation of, if I get this one, then you'll get the next one kind of thing. That's been fine for me when I have those sorts of things, and we don't, tally up by the dollar. Like it might just be, I'll get this meal, you get the next one, and that's fine because it's actually discussed in advance. But if there is this element of like, hey, I'm offering to buy you this thing, but the unspoken part is, and I expect you to get the next one. Well, if it's unspoken, that it feels manipulative in a way. So for me, there needs to be that upfront honesty about it.
Here's an example. My a number of years ago, my brother had a serious issue where there was a chance, like where we thought that he might die in a hospital, and so I like dropped everything what I was doing, and it was right after one of our cats died. It was literally the same day. That we had to put our cat down, and then a few hours later, I hopped on a plane and flew out to somewhere, Wyoming. Anyway, and so like I dropped what I was doing. I had to cancel my plans. I was supposed to go to Comic-Con, which, if you're familiar with con, you don't. It's not the kind of thing that you just show up and go, "Oh, let's see what there is." Like we plan a year in advance. Who's going to be there? What's our group costume going to be? This, that, blah, 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 like all this stuff, right? And so I just had to cancel everything. And I was out a ton of money, which was fine because, my brother, there was a chance that he wasn't going to pull through. He did. Everything's fine. And then I had to drive him from Wyoming back to where he lives in Virginia. So that was like a 3 or 4 day car ride, just the two of us, which was awesome for the both of us, but also like I kind of think I had to drop what I was doing. And it's what you do. Your family. Now, his wife comes from a family where they don't, that's not how they operate. They do tit for tat, meticulously. All right, well, how much did you pay? That's exactly how much I'm going to pay you, right? And so when I went out and did this whole thing for him and his family, she was like, it was kind of stressing her out because she felt the need to pay me back for everything that I lost going to Comic-Con, for my time, for giving up my schedule, and all of it. And my brother and I are looking at each other, going like, "You don't? What are you talking about? You don't know us diddly squat, or you don't owe me diddly squat."
Yeah, it was your choice.
Yeah, and like we're family. That's just kind of what we do for each other. I feel like I had a point to the story in your tit for tat friendship. I can't remember. Anyway, we got way off topic. There was a point. I was making a point in terms of like, well, maybe even there, like different life stages. At one point in our lives, we may have gone like, "Oh, you had to go above and beyond, and this huge act of service, and blah blah blah. I owe you." And maybe I would have said yes. Yes, you do. But like, priorities change.
And I think where I was going with that was that, like, over time, I kind of realized that, like, the best friendships are ones where you can call on someone when you need, like, their help. And there's no expectation of paying them back in return. Like, you can, right? But it's not like I have to, I must kind of thing. It's just like, so like, for me, as an example, like when I was in Malaysia and I'd met, a few comedians at this point, and I guess I kind of counted them as friends, but I didn't know them that well. And there was one time where I think we'd gone on vacation for a little while, and when we came back, our car wouldn't start, and I thought like it needed to be jump started by somebody. I'm like, oh my god, who am I going to ask to help for that? And so I ended up reaching out to one of the local comedians, and I'm like, I felt like really awkward about it because I'm like, I don't know if we have this kind of friendship where it's okay for me to do that. And then he did, like, he showed up and helped. Well, he tried to help. The battery, no, like the battery was dead. Like there was no way to jumpstart it. But like the fact that he still came out and helped out was like amazing, because I didn't know that I had that kind of level of friendship with him. And so yeah, like that, I guess that's the kind of thing.
It's like, got your back.
Well, stand-up is different from improv. But,
I thought it was an improviser. Sorry.
No, stand-up comedian.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
What was it? Fuck that guy. He's got a Netflix special. Come on. That gives you a very limited number of people that I could be talking about.
What about you, mister? We've hijacked this question.
No, it's fine. Like, I'm just trying to think. Like, it's weird because when you're younger, it's all about, like I said, you could literally just tap someone on the shoulder and I guess we're friends, and you guys just people hang out and everything. And it's cool because when you're younger, it's pure. When you're a teenager to your 20s, that's when you really kind of explore stuff and get out into the world. But one thing that really has changed for me specifically, it was really interesting because after I fell ill, things changed a lot, and not just because of my health, but also my world changed. And it was very interesting because when I was in the hospital in the U.S., those that were in Savannah where I was at, when I reached out to them, they literally dropped everything and they came to see me multiple times, which was fantastic. But it was strange because when I got back home to Malaysia, that's when I realized things were changing. I would reach out to a lot of friends, whether it was people I went to the bars with, homies, family friends, old friends, and I can count how many showed up in one hand for years. And I'll literally be messaging people, and this even isn't even people who were in the location I was. This was all throughout Facebook. Hey pal, if you're free for a chat, blah 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 blah. And honestly, those that even replied back were either saying no, I'm busy, or even I even remember this one person said, sorry, you're making me a bit uncomfortable. and I didn't realize it, and I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, and it got to a point where you just stop asking, and you realize, like, those friends that are there for you at your worst, those are your true ride or die. And it goes to show, I mean, yeah, obviously as we get older, our friend groups definitely get smaller, but the power is even bigger.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things I've found, I think, and maybe this is a Malaysian cultural thing, maybe there are other countries that are like this as well, but like vulnerability in Malaysia is hard. And like listening to other people's vulnerable experiences is also challenging. So it seems like that might have been something that was part of that. Like if you were opening up about what was challenging for you, it was just hard for them to take in because they're not used to having those kinds of conversations. That's not what friendship is overall, right? Because like to me, what friendship was in Malaysia was more just like these are the people that you're hanging out with as a group with your, because you have common interests, but you don't necessarily have deep conversations with them. Now, there were some people that I was able to have those kinds of conversations with in Malaysia, but there was more of a rare thing. It was more like, big group gatherings, you just happen to know a lot of people and count them as your friends because you see them all the time.
It's very surface level.
Yeah, very, very surface level. And it doesn't mean that they're not friends. It's just like the level of friendship is like, it's not one of those deeper friendships of things. Now, I mean, that was my experience when I was living there at the time. I do feel like that has evolved, especially since moving here and like the times that I've gone back. Like I do have deeper friendships with people from Malaysia now because I have been more open about what some of my experiences were, and I was able to have some like deeper conversations with people one-on-one, or like when I went back the few times that I did. So I mean, I don't feel like I'll be missing out on that when I move back. Like but the community aspect is still like kind of outweighs some of that stuff as well. Like you don't need to have super deep friendships with everybody that you're friends with, right? As long as you've got a handful or like one or two people that you can go to when like something is really weighing on you, and you learn who you can talk to about those things and who you can't. Because I've definitely had people that I thought we were friends, and then they would like take what I shared with them, like something really personal, and like throw it back in my face. And I would just learn to not trust them with as much vulnerable stuff that was going on in my life. I would probably still count them as a friend, but I would also not trust them to the same extent that I might have previously.
It's interesting because I remember when I was a kid, and even a teenager, young adult, whenever a friendship is cut off for whatever reason, it would haunt me for days. Even if it was my decision, I'd be like, oh, but I can't do this. Oh no. But now I'm in my 30s. I'm just like, yep, no problem. Snip, snip. And I was like, all right, so long, farewell, ta-da. And it doesn't weigh on me. So it goes to show that, less fucks you have to give, sure. But at the same time, it's you realize you only have so much of yourself you're willing to put out there. And those that are there for you, fantastic. Those are your people. Those that aren't, adios. Simple.
Yeah, I don't have to say adios to the people that aren't there for me. It's more I will reframe what that friendship is to me. Like, is it just one that I hang out with this person on a casual basis and we don't like talk about deep personal things and know what's going on in each other's lives? And like, I met so many people in the improv scene in San Francisco and like at festivals and things, and a lot of those friendships probably are surface level, and I haven't spoken very deeply with people, but they still count them as friends because I like spending time with them. I like hanging out and even having those surface level conversations, and it's just you realize that not everyone can be, super close buddy, because who has time to be super close buddy with everyone that they know?
I certainly don't.
No.
Lightweights. Hello.
That's why I share. No, but like my friends don't like. I guess. Oh, okay. So another thing that comes up for me that I find like something that is important to me in how I support my friends that isn't necessarily reciprocated is I have a lot of creative friends, and so anytime that they publish something or they're doing a show, like coming into town or somewhere that I can get to very fairly easily, I will put in the effort to go and make time to go and watch the thing. Like if they live locally and they're doing lots of shows, I will not go to every single show that they do because who has the money and time for that?
One is enough.
But like I will go support them every now and then at least if I consider them like close enough. Because I know a lot of improvisers, I can't go to every single show. And like, my friends who have published books, I will absolutely buy a copy of their book. But nice. That's not something that is reciprocated really for me. Like, I mean, I have some friends who have like bought my books and things, but sometimes it's felt like it's not as much, and I've definitely gone to the extent of like I share my friends' content like to try and promote it out to other people to do that word of mouth kind of thing. And I have very few friends that will do that for me to promote my stuff and put that out there. So that's one of the other things. It's like, man, I wish that was something that it was easier to talk about that mattered to me in a friendship.
There's a woman who lives here in the city. We've never been super close, but like definitely like friendly, and we were in the same friend group for a very long time. Just the sweetest woman. Her name is Kelly Boyce. And Kelly is the biggest champion of anyone. Say what?
She's the biggest pain in the ass I've ever.
That's totally where I thought he was going with it too. Like name her and then.
She is the biggest champion of anyone's creativity and like public display of creativity. She used to come to all of my shows. She would, not just my shows, but like she would, if you're having like a Halloween party or a Christmas party or whatever, of course, everyone's doing it all on the same day. And so she would spend the entire day going to everyone's parties. So she could spend like, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour at each person's party and then get up and go to the next person's party. It's just like I've never met someone like that before. And I think the world would be a genuinely better place if we all did that for each other. Not just in the creative arts, but I mean, in whatever thing you are doing, no matter how big or how small. Hey, you're setting up a baby crib. Do you need help? Let me come over and let me organize some people to see if we can help tackle this together. Like it takes a village type thing. And yeah, that's always stuck with me. I always thought that's one of the best qualities a human being can have.
And I think it's interesting because I think you two have pretty much hit the nail on the head there. It's someone who will make the time and make the effort. Like what you were saying about your friend who literally went all to those different places. That goes to show that there's an active effort to participate, right? And obviously, I mean, like, don't get wrong. The older I get, the more alluring my TV and my sofa is, and it's and my pajamas do not want to come off. But like the fact is,
wait, hang on a second. They come off?
I haven't even put them on. Yeah.
I didn't. This is new information for me.
I know, and it's the thing is, it's all. I mean, it's all about making the time and making the effort. Because if friendship was easy, we'd all be kumbayaing all day long. There'd be no such thing as war, right? There'd be no strife at all. But
Right.
no, I mean, it's you learn
Boy, it
about
would make board game night really boring, huh?
right.
A truly board game night.
Yeah, exactly, and it just goes to show that yeah, I mean, the fact is, like, even when we were kids, we tend to be friends with people who are similar to us in one way or another. And I've realized, maybe this is just me, the older I become, I'm almost gravitating towards people from all different types of backgrounds, where it's almost like my group is, everyone doesn't really know each other, but when you bring them together, they're like the weird kind of Power Rangers. Everyone's got their own little thing. And yeah, so it's interesting, but for me, it's just all about making the effort. And yeah, the older we get, I think the more that will prevail.
You guys, we spent over 30 minutes on this question.
I know, right?
Over 30
The first
minutes.
question was like, I think the first question we were done after 12 minutes, and that was including the introduction at the beginning of the show. So let's move on to the next question is kind of somewhat similar or related. So maybe this won't be as long because we already kind of touched on some of this stuff. But
next question.
do you believe all friendships serve the same purpose, or do different friends fill different needs in your life? So I think I kind of already answered my thoughts on this in the last question. Yes, obviously they serve very different purposes depending on how intimately you're willing to get to know each other, or if it's a surface level kind of thing that you're just an activity buddy friend.
Right. I mean,
and
because that's the thing. I mean, like, I think all three of us can picture some people's faces who we know we can go to if we have a problem, something's bothering us, we know we can go to them. Other people, you just want to go, oh, you know who might be fun? This person might be fun. Or another thing could be, I really need a good bitch. This person would be great. So,
yes, come bitch with me about this thing.
So, yeah, I mean, the fact is, I mean, variety is the spice of life. What do you two think?
I already said in my previous answer of people in our lives are there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? So, like, what is the reason that this person comes into your life? Are they going to stick around for a season, like, 2 or 3 years? Or is this a lifer friend? No matter what stage in life you were when you met them, are they a lifer?
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else. I think something came up while Sharon was talking, and then I forgot. It's like it's no.
Next question.
That's my brain. Yeah. If it comes back, I will come back to the question. But we'll move on to this one. Does the strength of a friendship depend more on frequent contact or the depth of intimacy when you do?
This one's interesting because I was like, I'm sure we all have experienced this thing where we reconnect with an old friend and it's as if no time has passed at all. Like, I remember, like, what was it? I was working as an intern at a bank, and I just came off a really, really big meeting, and everyone was all like exhausted. Everyone had their professional heads on. And I went to this bar, meet up some friends. It's as if I was back in high school all over again. We had the ties wrapped around the forehead, just going in the karaoke bar, and finger gunning and everything. And that was fun. So, and I think that's what grounds us, because even though, let's say, we change, circumstances change. For example, people get married, people have kids. Obviously, things will change. But when you guys do meet up, you have that kind of reconnection of your past, and that not necessarily childhood, but that younger version of yourself is still there. And
Yeah, you kind of revert to who you were when you last saw them in a way, but with the additional life experience of that you've accomplished in the interim period.
yeah, exactly. Like for example, I like to think that I'm very, very mature and what have you. But every time I see my best friend Olivia, I'm like, so how many dicks have you sucked this past week, dude? And we're like, oh yeah, meh, and we just end up ripping each other. It's just one of those things. So
My answer for this question is I think it depends on the friendship. Some friendships, the strength depends more on frequent contact, and some friendships, the strength depends more on the depth of intimacy when you do connect. I've definitely had friendships where I feel closer to them when I'm able to see them frequently. Like that's kind of how I felt about like my first improv group that I was part of. We met weekly, and so we got to know each other really intimately through what we were sharing during our weekly check-ins about our lives, about what was going on. But it was that frequency that allowed for that to happen, right? Allowed for the depth of intimacy that we had was the frequency of contact. These days, like I'm planning on meeting up with 4 of them in not this weekend, the following weekend, because I wanted to spend time with them again before I leave. But it's been so challenging to find time that we're all available to get together, and I don't feel as close to them as I used to. Even when we have like we've gotten together, we were able to get together for 2 shows in the last couple of years, which is not a lot actually. I tried to get us more, but like like I said, it's been so challenging because we have so many disparate lives now. And yeah, so when we did get together, it kind of felt like no time had passed and we were still able to like be open with each other, but it still wasn't the same as what it was when we were able to see each other weekly for 2 years basically, or over 2 years. And yeah, so that's one of those things. Same with like my Malaysian friendships, the frequency of connection with or frequency of contact with those people was what made those friendships as strong as they were. Now, granted, like as I've said, like going back, there's the strength of the friendship is still there, but it's easier to maintain those friendships when there's more frequent contact, I guess.
I think I'm gonna go with depth of intimacy. For me, in my experience,
I was not discounting that. Like, I know I focus more on the frequency of contact, but
no, I mean, like, and everyone's experience is their own. You know, everyone's observations are unique depending on location and circumstances, and like there's so many different things that come into play. But for me, I think the relationships in my life and the relationships that I've observed all come down to depth of intimacy. Yeah.
By depth of intimacy, do you just mean someone you just connect with emotionally, or just how long you know them?
For me, it's about how well you know them. How much of their deep dark secrets do you know? How much do they share with you that they will not share with?
Well, also for me, it's level of respect and trust that you have with this person, because you're not going to share those deep dark secrets if you don't trust them, and then also if if they respect you enough that you feel comfortable in sharing it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think for me, probably the strength of my best friendships rely on both, to some extent, right? Like my closest friendships, absolutely, the depth of intimacy matters the most. And I can go, months or years without connection, but they are stronger when there is more frequent contact. Like my closest connections today have both of these. Like I have one friend that I message almost every day, and I have another friend who the frequency of how often we connect depends on how much we write in our messages to each other and how much we have to reply to. When they're shorter messages, then we can reply more frequently. When they're longer ones, then it takes more time to kind of process and reply. But yeah, that like I've felt like it needs both to some extent. Yeah.
I look at one of my best friends from college. Honestly, maybe a better example are my brother's army buddies. They've been through some real shit out in Afghanistan and Iraq together, and in real life or death scenarios. And comparing it to my best friend in Orlando and myself from college, we've been through our own battle stuff, even though it's not like life or death. Like, we were both RAs in the dorms together, and so like there's this shared experience under a lot of intensity from time to time, and I think those moments bond people as well, so that if when there isn't frequent contact, there's just that we've been through the same shit together. We have each other's backs no matter what, forever. And it never needs to be said. It never needs to be verbalized. It's just a mutual understanding. Battle buddy, so to speak.
Yeah.
Who's your battle buddy?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. It's the shared experience as well. If you guys go through something intense, whether it's negative or positive, that friendship will go 10 times more stronger and possibly longer than just your average casual friendship, without a doubt.
Well, look at how many young girls are meeting and making friends at a Taylor Swift concert. Like, talk about a positive shared experience. Here's a stranger that you sat next to in the stands, and you're having this incredible, for a lot of people, once in a lifetime opportunity to see Taylor Swift perform one of the coolest concerts you've ever had during your young life. Like, that's a bonding experience for a lot of people. But only Taylor Swift. She's the only.
No, of course. Only Taylor Swift.
The Beatles, Michael Jackson.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten this question today. Next question.
Do we have anyone watching?
No, not at the moment.
Well, that'll change.
My dad will watch after the fact. If anyone is watching after the fact, please leave us some comments. We love to. I do share the comments with my guests afterwards, if they are relevant to them. And I love.
Yeah, come on, Lego Timmy, where are you?
He looked at my Instagram story today.
Come on, Daniel.
Anyway. All right. Next question is: has a friendship ever surprised you by becoming more significant than you expected?
2.
Do you want to elaborate,
Mike? I don't believe in having one best friend. You can have a whole horde of best friends. Josh and Dwayne. Josh, I met as a Mormon missionary in Ireland he's from Idaho. I'm from Pennsylvania. And we got paired up to go around the Northern Irish countryside, knocking on doors together to see if anybody wanted to hear the Mormon message. He is the reason I'm an improviser. Josh did improv back in high school, back in Idaho. He taught me all about yes and, the whole principle of yes and. He told me all about improv schools like the Second City, UCB, the Groundlings, stuff like that. And it blew my mind. I was like, hang on, what? There's schools that teach you comedy? I need this in my life. How does one do that? So if it weren't for Josh, and I say this with all sincerity and all candor, I don't know what my life would be like, because he played such a pivotal role. And now he's on my TV show. We get to play together every week. Well, every other week, but we were roommates for 12 years here in the city. Absolutely instrumental in my life. Second person is, the aforementioned Dwayne, who lives in Orlando. And we met in college at the Art Institute of Philadelphia. He was my RA. He was one of my 2 RAs. And I'm still good friends with the other RA, but Dwayne, we just connected. We're both from similar regions in Pennsylvania. I don't know. It was like earlier, you talked about, Sherrod, your buddy growing up. I can't remember his name.
D-Raj.
Where you just run around and get in trouble together. That was me and Dwayne, except we weren't the inmates running the asylum. We were the police running the asylum. We were both RAs. And it was, shared experience, ride or die. When my dad died, both Josh and Dwayne dropped what they were doing. They didn't even ask. They didn't wait to be asked. It was just, Mike needs us. Let's go. And it was, those are 2 friendships that I never saw coming. Long friendships. Yeah.
Do you want to go next, Sherrod? Do you want me to go next? I feel like I have a bunch that I can answer for this, including my 2 closest friends today. So I'll start with my first one, who's the longest.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, you don't get all of the everything that we chat on the live streams, but we don't look on. You guys are also a good answer to this, but let's get to that after I touch on the ones that I was going to answer.
You do.
Okay, so the first one was Australian woman I met in 2000, I guess, online. I knew who she was from a message board system, and I kind of thought she was a bit snobbish, so I didn't I didn't think she was a great person. But then I got to know her sort of through journaling on LiveJournal and fan fiction. And as I got to know her, I realized that I actually liked her. So then we developed a friendship. And but even back then, because that's 25 years ago now, I don't think actually it might have been 2001. I think I probably knew who she was in 2000, but it wasn't until 2001 that I actually reached out to her and connected. And Yeah, but so back then I was, there's no way I would have thought that it would be a friendship that would last a lifetime. I talked to her about her previously on a stream months ago, is because there was a time where I said something to her that actually ended our friendship for a period of time before we came back together and realized that we'd both kind of made mistakes. But she had like a history of like friendships like falling apart, and so it kind of wasn't that much of a surprise. But I think that's one of the reasons why us coming back together and staying friends and maintaining that friendship for so many years since then has meant so much to both of us. And I didn't even realize to the extent of what our friendship meant to her until like a few months ago when she called me her BFF, and I'm like, she'd never referred to me as her BFF before, and I'm like, wait, wait, what? Like, I just like, it took me a while to process. Like, why did that mean? Like, why did that matter so much to me? Like, I woke up from a like crying at one point, like when I like had time to process her calling me her BFF. So yes, that's a big one because, like I said, it was 2001. I think we became friends. And this is the person who shares the birthday with my very first kiss, which was also 2001. So it's like within the same year. So she knew of the person who I had my first kiss with, and that was kind of our way into connecting because I shared with her about kind of that experience that I'd had. Yeah. So that one, way more significant than I expected. My other like closest friend who I message almost every day, we have video calls fairly frequently. Like I've had video calls with him 3 times this week. Like this, like that's frequent. And we weren't able to last week because I was so busy last week. But I met him through a writing competition online, and he was someone that a lot of other people like admired, and but he like showed interest in me, and so it was like interesting that he and I were able to connect, and that our friendship has lasted as long as it has, because that was 2009 that we first met, and that's like what was 16 years ago now. That's crazy. And yeah, and I share everything with him. And
what about soup?
Yeah,
soup.
Sorry.
Soup?
Do I share soup
with him?
No, but I have made him breakfast before.
Oh my.
Well, our friendship has fluctuated from friendship to more to back to friendship and so on over time. So yeah, so it's definitely been more significant in multiple ways than how I expected when we first met, for sure. You guys, I don't think there's any way that I would have expected that we would be doing this sort of thing when we met. No way. Like when I met Sharon, you weren't like that regular in the stand-up. Like you came to a lot of the things, but you didn't perform that often, and then you fucked off to America. So, so like there was no way for so there was no way for us to like, for me to think that this friendship kind of would have grown. But I think it was like probably one of the reasons that that our friendship has grown into what it has been the result of me recognizing when you put effort into commenting on some of my more personal Facebook posts, and then you also reaching out to me about things, which made it easier for me to reach out back, which just kind of naturally progressed into what we have now, where you've been such a great friend to join this. Thank you. And yeah, Mike, like I think we've discussed this maybe on the stream before. I had a crush on Mike when I first met him because he was so flirtatious in his
you blame the guy.
stuff.
Look at him; he's a great.
Now he's like, "What? Am I?" And Mike is like completely forgotten.
No. I remember. I remember. It was.
Do you remember her having a crush on you when you guys first met?
Say what?
Do you remember her having a crush on you?
I remember a non-verbal crush. I don't ever remember it being explicitly stated, but I get so, because I know, like, I'm such a flirty person. I get it. It's just my nature. It's how I am. I don't mean anything by it, and it's gotten me a lot of trouble over the years. And those social cues, I don't know what it, like, if I don't see a person as a piece of meat, then I just don't think about my actions in those terms. And I do remember vaguely, I think you were laying down some real strong hints. You're laying
I think I was. I'm pretty sure I sent Mike a message. I think I sent Mike a message at one point suggesting we should hang out one-on-one, and Mike picked up on the fact that I wanted to hook up, and he was like, "Oh no, that's not what I've
all heard my hand on head story." So, like, I don't, in situations like that, I don't know how to, like, tactfully handle.
But this I guess where I'm going with that is that, like, after that kind of rejection, you wouldn't expect to have this kind of friendship come from that, right?
No.
Like, where we're able to form, like, and have these, like, awesome conversations and weekly, right? So yeah, like, there's no way that I would have expected this after being rejected like that. But, like, I feel like I'm someone who is able to take those rejections in my stride nowadays, and like, once I'm rejected, I'm like, okay, well, now I know where I stand with this person. Friendship, I can handle just doing friendship, like, you know, and I don't once I know that I'm rejected, I'm like, okay, there's the boundary, there's the line. I don't it allows me to not pine over the person when I know that they're not interested in me in that way, right? I think the complication comes when, like, you develop a crush on somebody and then you never vocalize it, and then so you don't know how they feel about you, and then if you do eventually have the courage to say something, then it becomes more awkward. But when it's, like, more fairly early on in the connection, it doesn't matter as much. Whereas I feel like the reverse has been true with male friends who have been interested in me, and I've had to turn them down, then they'll kind of, like, disappear. Like, I don't disappear just because a guy has rejected me. Right. Yeah, so that's both of you obviously good examples as well. Another one who I've talked on this stream at length. I refer to him as Lee. No, never.
Did you say Steve?
Yeah,
Steve?
I said Lee. L-E-E, is it? No. You guys know. This is so one of my closest Malaysian friendships, when I started getting more invested in the comedy scene again because I'd realized I'd kind of distanced myself. So late 2013, I reached out to this guy. I was like, hey, I thought this could be a good movie buddy for me because he was into movies. And so then we started hanging out. And we saw a few movies together and things. And then it became more significant because we both developed romantic feelings for each other. And so it went into something.
Keep going.
No worries.
How did that develop? Just because you're watching films with someone and then obviously you will discuss it afterwards. But did you notice things like when you're watching a movie, maybe, was it mostly at home or at the cinema or...
Okay, so it wasn't so much the movies that we watched together, but rather the conversations that we had when we weren't doing anything else. So like the first time we hung out, we went to see, I think it was Ender's Game. Was the first movie we went to see together. Still, that's fine. You know, the writers are, you know, controversial, right? Anyway, of the book. But after we saw the movie, we went to get some food and drink, and then we just talked for hours until the mall closed, and we got to know each other on quite an intimate level. So every time we hung out after that, we just had very intimate conversations about our lives, and that was how things progressed. Like as we got to know each other and could trust that we weren't judging each other for the experiences that we had. And then we realized like how much we had in common. So it's just kind of, it was a natural progression from there. And me being my flirty self, like I'm not always flirty, but like it was easy for me to be flirty with him because I knew that he'd previously had a crush on me like years before we actually met, because he'd seen me do stand-up comedy. We've talked about this on the show before too. And so I knew that he didn't have a whole lot of experience with women. And so that combination meant that I liked poking fun at him and teasing him by being flirty with no intention behind it for me. But like over time, I was like, oh, fuck, what are we doing? Like, I genuinely, I was like, he has too limited experience for me. I'm not going to be interested in him in that way. And then, bam, like one day it's like, well, I did. I did. But yeah, anyway, so that relationship became way more significant than I expected to, because I was not anticipating. I did not want to have, like, I'd had very strict rules for myself at that point. I'm like, I'm never going to try and get involved with a comedian again. I don't want to go after somebody who is within my same friend circle, you know, this sort of thing. So the fact that it, yeah, I blew through my boundaries for that. And he became so significant that I wrote my memoir about my relationship with him that has spanned 2 books, but not yet finished. The first draft is
the question
finished,
will it go on to make a trilogy of books?
It depends what happens when I move back to Malaysia. I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to approach him. If he chooses to come back into my life, then that's on him. As I've said, like I have had feelings that he might be stalking my Instagram to find out what I'm up to. I don't know for sure, but he seems to be the most likely candidate from what I've observed. But you know, you can observe somebody and not want to have them back in your life, or not think that you're worth being in their life for, right? Like, he definitely made comments about feeling like he wasn't worthy to be with me, or he was not good enough for me, and things like that. So I don't know, but like, if it stays the 2 books that it is fine with me. I'm fine with
man,
that.
like sequels that do well often turn to trilogies, so we never know. And to be fair,
It will see. Like me moving back to Malaysia will be the most likely way of it turning into a trilogy.
and the world will be waiting.
We'll see. Who knows if I reconnect with him, maybe I'm like, are you actually okay with me publishing this? Because I don't have to.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's
we'll see. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like that, like if he is not comfortable with me publishing that stuff, that could be the barrier that stops us from reconnecting. Like if he's not, if he doesn't like the fact that I'm sharing our entire history with the world.
Too late. Well, I mean, he might have an issue if you start sharing his nudes on there, but if you haven't, I think you'll be okay.
Dude, I would never. Also, I only have one.
Look at the sales.
He was too shy to send me anything like that. So the one that I have was me just taking a picture of him when he didn't realize that I was.
Oh dear.
Dude, that was from
so
2014, funny. So it's a very old picture at this point.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's from his behind, so like I'm not. It's not even any like. Otherwise, how would he would know? Like if he was front on, he would know it's taking.
What are you doing? I'm just focusing. I've got a bit of a headache. I've got to lean forward a little bit. There you go.
I was way more forward and open with what I sent to him. He was definitely more shy than me. But anyway, so those are my best examples. Actually, I think I have one other friend that I can think of for this. Also, somebody I met in Malaysia. We don't communicate that often these days, but this was my friend who was from Ghana, and so we were both like foreigners in Malaysia, and I think we just got to talking at after a comedy show sometime, and he was one of the people that I hung out with one-on-one when otherwise the only way that I saw other comedians was in the group gatherings kind of stuff and at shows, and so yeah, he and I connected in somewhat like with fairly closeness, and even though like we don't communicate that often these days, every time I do hear from him, like on a WhatsApp message or whatever, it's always nice to hear from him. So it doesn't feel like a friendship that has disappeared, even though we don't communicate that frequently. Like my first trip back to Malaysia, he messaged me I think after my welcome back dinner, because or around the time of my welcome back dinner, because somebody who was there took a picture and sent it to him, and and he knew about my history with Lee, and so he'd seen that Lee was in this picture as well. And he was like, what's going on? And I was like, nothing. Like I don't know what to say here.
Sure.
So yeah, so it's been nice every time that I hear from him. And yeah, so that was another meaningful friendship where I don't know. I don't know that I would have thought that it would have turned into what it did when I first started spending time with him.
Yeah, I think for me, this one's tricky because aren't all friendships in a way surprising in one way or another?
I guess depends on how significant do they become.
I mean,
right?
just to kind of shift things around, I think it's interesting because I can think of a guy, John Gregorick, is his name, who I met in Savannah. And this is interesting because we met during our freshman year, and both got along great. And we even thought about, okay, maybe when in my sophomore year, we can move into his house, got a huge house, so things are looking great. And unfortunately, we had a bit of a falling out. It was over a woman, of course, typical. And but the important thing was that it made me realize a lot about myself and a lot about what I put out into the world. So in some ways, I look back on it now, and I'm still grateful for the times that we spent together. He was a good guy, and unfortunately, it was just in one of those situations where things just got out of control. No one wanted to hurt anyone. No one wanted to feel anything for someone else. And as painful as it was, it made me realize that you need to focus on yourself more and more often. Like, if you ever are unhappy, don't let it be because of this person or this person or this person. If you're unhappy, focus on yourself. And this could be something like trying to get more exercise, meeting other people, trying to pick up a new hobby or something. And it takes all the validation out of things you can't control and put it into things that you can. Yeah. So in some ways, that was it for me.
I definitely had that kind of experience when my marriage was not a happy one. Like, well, I can't blame this on the marriage. I can need to seek out my own happiness some other way if I'm not getting it those needs met within it. Yeah. All right, should we move on to the next question? All right, hopefully Mike will be back before we finish answering this one. What's the hardest lesson you've learned through the ending of a friendship? I can go first since you just answered. I think the most recent one, I actually ended up like writing one or two blog posts that were kind of inspired by the ending of that friendship. And it was someone where I had a romantic / sexual relationship with him for a period of time in our lives, and then it switched to friendship. And he had tried to wanted to get the friendship back on track, but there was a point I just realized that he was not going to give me he was not going to be willing to analyze his own actions and behaviors that led to the conflicts that we were having, and I felt like I had to be constantly responsible for what was going wrong and things. And I'm like, dude, if you can't accept me for who I am because you're going to get upset at me because of your own bullshit, like whatever story you're telling yourself that to me is not accurate, if you're going to blow up at me instead of like having a calm conversation with me about it, then we can't. The friendship's just not going to work. So I ended up having to end the friendship by saying, like, look, ideally we wouldn't be ending this stuff, but until you can talk to me with respect and recognize your own part in what's gone down, I don't want to hear from you again. And it's so hard to have to cut somebody off like that. I hate cutting people off. It's much easier to have friendships like drift away because you just don't have stuff in common. But when there's an actual conflict and somebody is basically yelling at you by text, I'm like, hey, can we have like a video conversation about this, right? Like it, because tone is lost over text, right? And stuff. So I tried to have a mature conversation with him about it, and he was not able to have, like, unless you can have those, both people can come together with acknowledging their own faults and what is their own responsibility, and look at what their own past traumas and experiences are being projected onto the other person. It's too hard to manage a friendship when somebody is projecting their traumas and past history onto you, that they're creating narratives in their mind that is very different from your own perception. And unless you're able to have those conversations maturely to be able to hear both perspectives, then sometimes you just have to cut people off, and so fucking hard.
It's literally hard. The hardest lesson. Like, I think that's something that's kind of not just ingrained into our culture, but more so into our species, into how we're wired. We're pack animals. That's how we are. And the fact is, when you ostracize someone who's, let's say, there's obviously they're still among the land of the living and everything, and they might be in the same perimeter as you. So what's the reasoning behind it? So it's not easy, and I don't think you ever hear people saying, "Oh yeah, so and so did me wrong," and I cut them off like that. That's not true. Even if they did say that's not true. And I think the important thing is, the hardest lesson you could possibly take is just the reason why it ended, and to make sure it doesn't happen again. I mean, the reason why you became friends with that person was because you saw something in them that you liked, and they saw something in you that they liked. And the reason when things fall out, whether it was out of your control or not, you just have to make sure it doesn't happen again, because I don't think any of us enjoy going through that pain more than once. No.
Yeah. So anyway, that was it. It was challenging to navigate my way through that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a minefield, and to be fair, unless you guys have that conversation, you'll never have closure. So that's even worse.
Oh, I don't need any further closure from this. Like, I've worked through what I needed to work through with it. I think, as frustrating as it was, I said everything that I felt was necessary to say. And, I still said, like, if you are open to recognizing your part in this and owning your experience, then I'm open to having further conversations about this. But until that happens, so it was a very good lesson in actually standing up for my boundaries, and like, because it was one of the hardest things about it was like that he was trying to say that he accepted me and liked me for who I was, except this one part. I'm like, but if you're going to be frustrated about this one part, then you're not actually accepting all of me.
That's the thing. Like, we all, let's say, this isn't just limited to our friends, but everyone, right? We all have that one flaw. Like, for example, person X, they're great, but when they have got a bit of a drinking problem, person Y, they're great, but they really can't stop bitching. Like that whole thing. But that's what makes them them. So
yeah. My thing was that I was not willing to demonize my Malaysian ex with him. I'm like, dude, like, I learned stuff from him, and I'm not like, I still haven't like completely closed the door to never speaking to him again, right? Like, I can't close the door all the way. I'm not like that. Apart from, like, once I have no needs to communicate with my ex-husband anymore, that that door will be closed for good, and I will be glad. But that's the only one. Like, I'm very open as long as people are willing to, like, meet me in the middle somewhere, rather than put everything and put all the blame on me. If you're going to put all the blame on me and, not accept part of who I am, then I don't really need you in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, we're all to that point now where I don't think we really know who we are until we're in our 30s. As we said, like, if someone was like, oh, I don't like this about you. Oh, tell me how I could make it better. I'll change. I'll be good.
Oh yeah, no, for real. I've definitely done far too much of that in my life, and now I will be willing to make changes if I care about the person enough, and if I recognize that it is a behavior that I want to work on myself. And I have done, like, even without being asked, like, I will recognize when I've done something that I was not proud of, and then I will work to change my behavior. But it needs to be something that you recognize in yourself that needs to change. If you don't see it as something that you need to change, then you shouldn't have to in order for somebody else to like you.
That's
right?
The thing. It really depends, because if it's something that one person says, or even, like, two people, you can kind of brush it off. But if you hear it through the grapevine that everyone has this opinion of you, maybe it's you, and and obviously that could be, should you choose to act on those wishes or not, it could end the friendship. But at least if it's coming from a good place, then do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be very honest. When I was in university, I became too much of a party boy, and for example, I'd be drunk before 12, and I'm not happy with that. And it's only until people were like, "Oh, Sash, you're not reeking of booze today." Someone said that to me. I can't remember who it was, and that was just when it hit me right then. I just went, "What am I doing?" And that changed everything. And to be fair, it just goes to show that really the lessons you learn, and whether they end the friendship or not, that's just something you got to take with you.
Yeah. All right. What about you? What's the hardest lesson that you've learned through the ending of a friendship? Have you had many friendship endings?
Not many. I've had a few, as I mentioned earlier. One was because of a woman. That was interesting. That was really annoying, actually.
Right.
Because looking back on it, it was just stupid, and on everyone's parts. And I think the hardest lesson, the hardest lesson I probably took back from ending a friendship is, it's probably acceptance. Because I think that's, losing a friendship is sometimes more painful than losing a relationship, because a friendship could be longer. It could have had more history to it.
Yeah.
And you have to, I think you have to grieve. That's the important thing. If you just go, oh, so-and-so is a dickhead, so-and-so doesn't like me, whatever, I'm done, and you don't grieve that friendship, it's gonna be nagging at the back of your head. So you have to take the time, acknowledge, okay, this has happened. I've got to acknowledge my feelings, and then safely move on. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Michael? Do you have any harsh things about the friendship?
Yes, I'm glad you were able to make it back before we moved on to the next question.
Yeah, it was one of those, oh no, there's a poopy kitty in the apartment. So had to go take care of that.
Fun.
And the apartment still stinks a little bit. So that's awesome. I, having thought about this question for all of 30 seconds, buddy, what did we literally just do?
Is it just pooped again?
No, but he's doing something. So I don't think I've ever had anyone end a relationship, like a friendship, with me. Like, friendships have just fizzled out. That happens all the time. But I have ended a friendship with another person. They were my sugar mama for a little while.
Ooh, look at you.
And it was unsolicited. I didn't ask for that. It was the kind of thing that, like, I had already been living in the city for about 4 years, 5 years. She was a friend of a friend.
Of your mom's?
Yeah. I genuinely thought she was a very interesting person. And but she kept taking me out to like expensive dinners, and she would buy me tickets to go see shows. And it got so weird that like I had to just, broach the subject and be like, no, this is just, please stop. This is not, I don't want any of this. And her reactions were, oh, well, I just remember when I was new to the city. By the way, I was not new to the city. I just remember when I was new to the city, like, I wish that I had someone like this in my life. Okay, cool. That's what you wanted. You never asked me. Like, I feel you're spending a lot of money on me. This is making me feel really weird. And then she got really defensive about it. And then like we came to a mutual understanding, like, please just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. She worked at NBC at 30 Rock, and she every now and again would be like, hey, I got tickets to Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers or whatever. And every now and again I'd take her up on the offer, even after like the weirdness of like, please don't, just whatever. Anyway, so on this one time she calls me up and she says, hey, I've got last minute tickets to Jimmy Fallon. Can you be here in like 90 minutes? At the time I was living in Jersey. And I'm like, yes, I can be there in less than 90 minutes. I will be there ASAP. She says, great. Be in line by, I don't know, say 4:50, right? 4:50 p.m. So I'm texting her the whole way. I'm like, hey, I'm almost there, blah, 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 all this stuff. I get in line. If the deadline was 4:50, I got in line at 4:45. So I still had, not a lot of time to spare, but I got there and I made sure I was there before the deadline. And I'm standing in line, and this was not the first time she'd ever done anything like this. So I get there, she's standing in line, and she's with another guy, and she goes, oh, this is so-and-so. I just gave your tickets to him. And I was like, what? What do you offered me the tickets. I accepted the tickets. She goes, yeah, but you weren't here by like 4:30 or whatever. I'm like, you didn't tell me to be here by 4:30. You said be here by 4:50. And granted, I was cutting it close, but like, I'm here.
You're here before 4:50, yeah.
Yeah. And
that's a lot of effort for you to travel from Jersey to there.
And it wasn't just like offering me tickets and then pulling them back, but like there was other weird stuff about the relationship. But that was the proverbial way of saying it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. But really, that was the brick through the window for me. That I was like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm friends with you. You're a real shitty friend. You don't know how to be friends, but you buy your friends because you don't know how to be friends. Mm-hmm. And I didn't say this to her, but I just cut her off. Just no, I'm not talking to you ever again. And then it was about a year later, and this was long before Bill Cosby got outed as a horrible human being. She knew that Bill Cosby was a huge influence of mine. So a year after I cut her off, she called up our mutual friend and said, hey, Mike won't talk to me. Not entirely sure what's going on. Which, if you don't know what's going on, like, oh boy. Anyway, And she goes, I have an opportunity for him to meet Bill Cosby. I'm interviewing him for this, NBC News, blah, 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 something, something. I would love to be friends with Mike again. Can you get him on the phone? Like, I just want to talk to him. And so I was like, fine.
At this point, were you not answering her calls then?
Yeah, I wasn't answering her calls. I wasn't responding to texts, nothing. So finally, my buddy was like, hey, she has an opportunity where you can meet Bill Cosby. Anyway, turns out that she was going to let me meet Bill Cosby during her interview if I promised to be friends with her again. And I was like, fuck no. No. What? No. And our mutual friend was just like, Mike, what are you doing? You can meet Bill Cosby. This is like a once in a lifetime. And I'm like, and again, in hindsight, I'm like, oh.
She's like buying the friendship.
You're buying the friendship. You don't actually want to try and be friends with me. You want me to
but like, here's the thing, like, why does she care so much about having you as a friend? Like, it doesn't, like,
I think it's because I was willing.
It doesn't seem like there's
I think it was because I was willing.
Because you were willing.
And that's the thing. She wasn't. I don't know what she's like now. We haven't spoken in 15 years. Who knows what she's like now? But she was an interesting person. She was nice. I thought, I thought very highly of her until I started realizing, I started putting these pieces together. And this is where I'm going with this whole thing. What's the hardest lesson that I've learned through the ending of a friendship? Choose your friends carefully. Like, everyone has signs and signals, and sometimes there's red flags. And if you're just ignoring those red flags because you think you can get an opportunity or whatever, there's knock it off.
Yeah.
Don't ignore red flags.
Yeah. Don't be using people to.
Next question.
Next question. We have one question left, which I think is pretty good timing because we aim for around the 2 hours first. So our last question is, which friendship has taught you the most about yourself, and in what way?
My relationship with me.
Got it.
What about Kim?
Yeah, that's probably.
How long were you friends with your missus before you married her?
2 years.
Ooh.
We our first date was the 2019 Pride Parade. I met her earlier that year in March. She was my improv student. So we met in March 2019. And then she wasn't my student anymore by the end of June. And so when the Pride Parade in New York happened, which is the last day of June, that retroactive became our first date. It was just a hangout. It was like, hey, do you want to pass out condoms to the city of New York? Yes, please. That sounds awesome. But we hung out for like 7-8 hours that day, just talking, just the two of us. So that was summer 2019. I proposed Christmas 2020. We got married October 2021. So a little over 2.5 years. We knew each other.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, yeah, probably. There are people in your life that the sheer fact of who they are, just the kind of person that they are. And I'm going to use Kim. That's actually a perfect example. Kim is the mirror that I get to look at myself through. And we've talked about this a lot with each other, which is we had to become the best versions of ourselves before we met. Because if we had met like even 5 years prior to the time that we had, neither one of us would have been ready to be in the relationship with each other. We wouldn't. So we had to wait for when the timing was right for the both of us, or rather the fates or deity or the guiding hand or whatever it is you want to call it.
Universe.
Say what? Yeah, the universe.
Yeah.
We needed to be the best versions of ourselves before we met. Otherwise, our relationship probably wouldn't have worked. And none of that became apparent to see our own strengths and to see how far we had both individually come until we were in that relationship with each other. So yeah.
Would you like to continue?
Me?
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. I thought you were talking to Mike. Yeah, look, I'm probably gonna have to go with my Malaysian ex Lee as well, because it was like friendship first. Like, this is the thing. Like, for me, friendships, like relationships, should have a foundation of friendship first, and so even though it was the romantic and sexual connection as well, the friendship aspect is what stays strongest for me. And I would say that, I mean, I don't know if I would have necessarily learned as much about myself if it wasn't for the romantic and sexual aspects as well, but yeah, it taught me so much, because there were things that he did that triggered my past, that like made stuff come up for me. And really the way I reacted but didn't want to react towards him is where those lessons were that allowed me to learn more about myself and choose to make different choices as a result. So yeah, being triggered, like, then this is the thing. I know I've written about this on one of my Instagram posts recently. I think, like, what I want in a future romantic connection is someone that I can get triggered with, so I can learn about those things and make changes to improve myself, and trust that we'll be okay, right? That he will know how to stay with me through those challenges that I have when I get triggered and when things come up, because that is genuinely one of the reasons why I feel like that relationship mattered so much to me, is because of how much I learned about myself and how much I was able to reflect on my history and things that I wanted to change. Learning more, it allowed me to learn more about understanding my attachment style, what my triggers are. And yeah, because like even now, like there will be things that come up that will be like remind me of things that I went through with him, I think sometimes. And it's just then those, like, as more things come up that remind me of those past histories, it helps me process even more about myself and things that I've gone through and how I can do things better in the future. So yeah, that's my answer.
I think for me, I think I'm going to cheat a little bit. This isn't exactly a friendship per se. It's a relationship I have with my cousin.
Cousins can be friends as well as cousins.
And I don't know if I've ever talked about him on camera before. So basically, we were like brothers. He is a year older than me, so he's my mother's brother's son, right? And we got along great. Was fantastic throughout our entire lives, and I remember like things kind of got weird when my grandparents passed away, and I later found out that apparently his dad had changed the will about a year or so beforehand. Because at this point, my grandmother, she wasn't really coherent, and we did a little bit of sleuthing, and we got some information back from the place where it was done, and that person shared what happened, like that my uncle brought my grandmother in, and she didn't know where she was or what was going on. She was just signing stuff on the paper.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, and so that was interesting. But it was with my cousin that things really it really taught me a lot about myself. Was that I reached out to him. This is when I just come back home, and I messaged him. I was like, listen, whatever issues your dad and my mom have, they don't have to be between us. Let them sort it out. I need my cousin, because at this point, I didn't know if I was going to walk again. I was like, I need you in my life. I'm like, just ignore all that and I'll tell them you're coming, but please, can you come? And he would reply back saying, oh yeah, I'll be in town at this day, what have you. I'll drop by. Months would go by, nothing. And we have mutual friends, and I'd reach out to them, go, hey, have you heard from so-and-so recently? They're like, yeah, I saw him last week. Things like that, and that kind of thing. And I was very, very angry for a long time, but then it made me realize that you can't put too much faith in other people, because if you do that, you're inevitably going to get burned. I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but there is a chance that if you extend your hand too much, it's just statistical. You're going to get burned at some point or another. So one thing that that relationship taught me was if someone is not willing to make the effort, you're better off without them. And it was difficult, because like I remember I would do things like I would message him saying, please come, why aren't you coming, please? And he would reply saying, yeah, I'll drop by, to nothing at all. And it's been interesting. Like in my mother's funeral, he didn't show up, but his father did. My mother's older brother, and I remember he took me inside, and he was like, why haven't you been giving Ishi a call? Like, he misses you. And I remember I looked at him and I just went, what are you smoking? And I just looked at him. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I even called him bro. That's how I was like, what are you talking about? And I remember like my sister and my dad had to hold me back, because I was like, listen, if I ever see that kid again, I can't promise anything. And there might be a good chance police will have to be called. And I mean, I was pissed, because, but interestingly enough, like our mutual friends interestingly enough, 3 of our mutual friends who I met through him, I hadn't seen in 10, 20 years, showed up for my mom's funeral. They're like, oh yeah, I remember her. She was so nice when we stayed over. She made us food. She's really, really funny. I'm so sorry. And I was like, have you spoken to him at all? And they're like, so it's just one of those things. So basically that relationship taught me we're going to get burned at some point or another in our lives, and it's okay. But it just means that you can't just put too much stock into one person, right? You have to be realistic.
Oh yeah, I had that lesson also from my person as well. It taught me to distribute my emotions more evenly to multiple people rather than relying on one person for.
And it's okay. I mean, obviously we have our quote unquote best friends. I have a best friend, Olivier, who I've known since I was 12 or 13. I was the best man at his wedding, and I know for a fact he's my ride or die, and nothing will change that. But I'm very, very blessed to have found him. But yeah, like with my cousin,
what if he cuts your leg off?
If he has a good excuse and if he gives me money for it, we'll talk.
But what if you said nothing will ever change that? What if he doesn't have a good excuse?
Then I'll steal his wife with my one leg.
But he'll still be your ride or die.
Well, I mean, I'm sure his wife will be up for it, so we'll see how that goes. So, no,
But
I mean,
he'll still be your ride or die.
Probably. I mean, I'll have to draw the line at leg chopping. Yeah, if he chops that off, we might have to revisit
something could change that.
Potentially,
Right.
but not likely. At least I hope not. Touching wood.
You can't foresee him doing anything that would
hyperbole police.
Yeah, so I'll be keeping an eye out for any sharp objects next time he's around. But yeah, the fact is, when people leave you, there's a reason why they do, whether it's something you did or something they did, and you just have to teach yourself not everything's about you, and that's okay. So yeah.
That's a very interesting point, because we had a doorman here downstairs for, I don't know, a year and a half, something like that. His name's Alberto, just the coolest guy. Total
That's a great name for a doorman.
Alberto? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great name for a doorman, yeah.
And he is in his late 20s. Really cool guy. We got along super well. Like I would hang downstairs and just talk for like an hour or sometimes 2 hours. Like just a really great guy. And we had great conversations too. Come to find out, he had never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies.
What?
And, yeah, he'd never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies.
You made him watch the Crystal Skull? Is that the first and only one you showed him?
So just great.
Torture.
One of my other next door neighbors, also a super nerd, super geek. I told him, Patrick, and we figured out, okay, the three of us, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna watch at least just the first movie, right? Just movie night, like, oh, it's gonna be awesome. And I was gonna cook, like, big, kind of make it like a thing, right? Make it an event. Patrick comes over, we're doing the thing. We're waiting for Alberto. We're texting Alberto. We're starting to get a little concerned because we're like, is he okay? Did something prevent him from coming? And we didn't hear anything. And so we're like, oh, I guess we're not watching Indiana Jones tonight. So I think we watched Beverly Hills Cop instead. Anyway, I think it was the next or 2 days later, he texted me and he said, "Hey man, I'm so sorry. It was my sister's birthday. I got super drunk. I'm so sorry that I missed it." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm glad that you're okay. But like, we had plans. Like, you were looking forward to this. And like
he could have said in advance that he couldn't make it because his sister was having a birthday.
After that, I don't know if he quit or if he got fired, but I never saw him as a doorman ever again, and we have never spoken since. It's the weirdest thing, because like we had the best conversations. And like we got to know each other pretty well, like pretty intimately. And we shared some really like deep stuff with each other over the year and a half, however long he was here. And hey, let's make plans, movie night, and you just don't show. And then now you're not working your job anymore and you won't respond to my texts. And yeah, I kept texting him. To see like I kept trying to repair the friendship, and it was just oof. I was like,
At that point, there's only so much.
Sometimes you have no idea what's going on with other people that causes them to make the decisions that they make.
So
I just want to bring up Lego Timmy is having a wave at us because we finally have a
We're asking about you earlier.
We are done with our questions from ChatGPT, but if you would like us to continue, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them. Otherwise, we're basically done, right? So we've been talking about the meaning of friendship. Actually, I think there was something else that I was going to ask, kind of on the when I talked about how earlier I was talking about how I love supporting people in their creative arts and pursuits and stuff, but I don't receive a lot of that in return. Is there something like the quality that you like to have in your friendships that you maybe don't always vocalize, or that you appreciate that when it comes up, even if you don't necessarily openly say it?
I think for me, the obvious one is I think we all take each other's time for granted. Us and them. I think, one thing I've learned is 99% of the time, all you have to do is show up. That's it. Show up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Because time is so short, right? So limited. So showing up and making time for people is a big part of how you can show how much you value them.
That's all you need sometimes. Just show up.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is, but nothing's coming to mind.
That's all right. Timmy's just said, I should probably get to bed. It's 12 a.m. for me.
Well, now we know what time zone you live in, Timmy.
Good night, y'all. Yeah, same time zone as Mike. Actually, I think I knew that before. Anyway,
he's in. So it's 1 o'clock.
Oh no, you said Central
so
Time
he
Zone.
would be,
Yeah. Sorry.
Central.
Yes. Yeah. I thought he was used to be in Eastern, but maybe I didn't know that. All right. So anyone else have other thoughts that they want to bring up about
Friends are great. Make them.
Friends are awesome. Make more.
Yeah. You never know what a friendship is going to turn into. They can be very surprising, as we've established. I think that was one of my favorite questions. Like, what friendships have surprised you in how they turned out to be. All right. So make friends, get vulnerable. That is one of the best ways to get deeper friendships rather than surface level ones, and find the people that you have things in common with. And we'll do the next episode probably sometime next week. What are we doing?
I'm trying to mirror. Is that a DoorDash t-shirt you're wearing? What is that?
No, this is a Cleveland shirt.
Cleveland what?
Browns, I think it is.
Oh,
I think so.
Not a sports person. I wouldn't have a
colors. But I don't.
I don't talk, so I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
All right, so keep an eye on the channel if you want to find out when we're going to be live next, because sometimes we change it up, but hopefully it may be around the same time next week. We'll see. I don't think I have any plans next week, so
same time.
It looks like it's going to go. Same time next week. I don't have it. I think it's the 1st of October.
That's my anniversary.
Or the 2nd.
Ooh. Look at you.
It's the second.
Okay, cool.
And then also sometime next month we have to schedule it, but we are planning on doing a live stream just to discuss modern day horror films. because it's October next month. Finally, we made it. Finally, we'll be able to have this live stream. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So keep an eye out on the channel to find out when those live streams will happen. We do love to have audience interaction in the live chat or in the comments afterwards. Love to hear what was resonating with people, and always feel free to drop us suggestions for topics that you want us to discuss or questions you want us to discuss, and we'll be glad to bring
I
them
would
up.
like to discuss why Sherrod's big blue boob is oozing milk.
Because
Ew. Ew.
the main question is, why is it not in your mouth? Put it there.
What? Ooh, what is it really? I wonder.
It has no smell whatsoever, and it has the consistency.
It looks kind of like paste.
Yeah, it has the consistency of like toothpaste.
Or toothpaste.
Put it in your
Yeah,
mouth.
it looks like toothpaste.
Do it.
It's got to be non-toxic.
Don't actually put it in your mouth. There we go. Good boy.
Oh my god, this is how we're gonna end the stream.
Yeah.
Mike is going to be eating something that seems like
There's
toothpaste.
a mosquito flying around here, so
Just put it in your mouth and pretend you like it, and you'll be fine.
pooping
Go marry
cat, bleeding boobs, and mosquitoes. That should be the title
Oh my
of this
goodness.
episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe. I think I do have a topic for next week. Actually, I think I suggested, but now I'm also thinking character traits might be an interesting one. But I think I had another topic I was going to come for this week, and then I was like, no, the meaning of friendship. Yeah, I think next week we might go with finding purpose.
Oh, I was really hoping you were going to say Nemo.
Finding purpose with Nemo.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. Until next time, go out and make some friends and be vulnerable.